Hey, what's up, guys? David Peratino back with another YouTube video on how to improve your Meta ad account. And this one is all about Alex Hormozi's $200 million playbook and his exact Facebook ad strategy and the principles behind it. And again, he has built a $200 million a year empire built on these principles. And here's how you should apply them to your Meta ad account in 2026. And if you're new here, guys, my name is David Peratino. I make videos like this daily or as needed, following Meta and all the changes that it makes. It's very important if you're running ads on Meta, or if you're a business that advertises on Meta and you have a team in place doing it, you need to know exactly what is going on and the changes that are happening on the platform. Any percent increase that you can implement into your business can be very, very valuable. So subscribe so you never miss out, like this video, and if there's another video that you want me to make, leave it in the comments and I'll make sure to make that for you. All right, so here's a problem that I see in 2026. Most ad accounts are hitting a ceiling for a number of reasons, but the four biggest reasons are that they're treating ads like a slot machine, they're guessing, they're making emotional decisions, they're going broad and calling it a strategy. Facebook's great, Meta's great. It's AI, Advantage Plus, Andromeda technology is really good, but that is not a blind strategy that you can just trust. Brands are plateauing at a certain number of creatives a month. They don't have the capacity to, or the strategy to make more than that. And a lot more is required, guys, in 2026. And number four is that the offer never stops the scroll. And this is the most important thing. No matter how good your creative is, no matter how engaging it is, if you don't have a good offer, if you don't have something that people don't want, it's not going to do well on Meta. And this sounds obvious, but it's missed so many times. And this is the number one strategy that Alex Hormozi implements in his businesses. So at a high level, here's 5 moves. I'm going to dive into each of them. Number one is to make the offer stop the scroll, which I'll talk about on the next slide. Number 2 is to make volume as the strategy. Number 3 is to build a repeatable system. Number 4 is to add manual precision on top of that. And number 5 is to let organic pre-sell the click. So number 1, put the value equation on your creative. So his whole business model, his whole empire runs on making the offer very good, making the perceived value obvious. And your ad, if it's a video ad, has to do that in the first 3 seconds, right? The hook rate needs to be strong, but it also needs to hook the right people and clearly articulate the offer that you are giving with your ad. And you want to maximize the dream outcome, right? What is the outcome that somebody's going to have if they buy your product or service? If you're a skincare brand, it's going to be better looking skin, more radiant skin. If you're a supplement brand, it's going to be healthier, lose weight, whatever. You need to maximize that dream outcome, and you obviously need your product to be good and fulfill that promise. But in the ad, you have to maximize that dream outcome because people don't care about your brand. People care about what your brand can do for them, and you need to maximize that dream outcome. Your job as a marketer is to do that. You want to maximize the perceived likelihood of success. You want to make it very likely that they will achieve that, right? You can do this with social proof, product demos, before and afters. You want to make success feel inevitable. Like there's no chance that they won't get results with your product or service. You want to minimize the time delay, right? You want to get a quick win. And so I do this with my clients. I try to get quick wins all the time. If their goal is to reduce customer acquisition costs or increase ROAS, I try to do that in the first week. Now, Meta ads are not, my service is not a quick fix, but I try to do that because oftentimes the brands that come to me are, one, looking for help. Sometimes they're struggling and there's a lot of opportunity, right? But they're putting trust in me. And so I want to go above and beyond early on and give them quick wins. And you need to think about ways to do that with your business. If you have a product or service that takes 3 to 6 months to really get rolling, and that's really like my service, it does take that. It's not a quick fix, but if you can do something in the first week or 2 weeks or 3 weeks or first month to improve their lives, improve their trust in you, in your brand, then you need to do that. And you need to articulate that in your product. Perhaps you're adding a free gift with purchase or something like that, right? Think about ways you can do that with your offer. And you want to minimize the effort and sacrifice required in your offer, right? You want to kill the friction. Number 2 from Hormozi's Facebook ad strategy in 2026 is that volume is key. The brands that are pulling away aren't just smarter, they're testing more ads. They're testing more angles, they're testing more offers, right? With AI and generative AI and the systems that you can implement, it is easier than ever before to generate a large amount of ads, a large amount of offers, a large amount of landing pages, and you have the capability to produce that now with all this amazing technology. The brands that are winning are doing that. The brands that aren't just simply aren't. And it really comes down to wanting to be successful, number 1, and 2, having a system in place. And so I see it all the time. Brands will come to me and they want to give Meta ads a shot, or their previous partner wasn't working out for them. And so I'll typically start at a low budget, make sure that we start with the right strategy. I let data inform my decisions. I let all my historical context of different ad accounts that I've worked with inform my strategy, and I implement that unique to the business that I'm working with. And once we get it rolling, then the name of the game is to diversify away from one angle, one ad, right? You want as many different ads as possible to be profitable. You want to build out a profitable, predictable pipeline, right? And you need to do this strategically. And you need somebody who has experience in the strategy, and you don't want your budget to be spread too thin, right? All these things. But the name of the game in 2026 with Andromeda and Meta's new algorithm is volume is the strategy. Number 3, you want to build a system, not just blindly making campaigns, right? So you want to work with Meta. Again, Meta wants 50 conversions per week per ad set to get out of the learning phase. So if you have a lower budget, or your brand that's just starting out testing Meta ads, right? You don't want to be spreading your budget too thin with multiple campaigns. You want to have a system in place for creative. So again, every brand's different, but essentially the name of the game for the system is you want to be able to produce the creative on a schedule, not just randomly, right? I like getting ads Monday so I can look at the week before's data. I can launch new ads on Monday. I can have the full week to watch it. And then at the end of the week, I can get some data on those ads. And typically I like to test them for longer than that. So by the end of the next week, I'll have a significant amount of data. And I can apply those learnings to 1, scale the winners, 2, cut the losers, but most importantly is to inform my future creative strategy. So even if your test loses, if you do it with the right system, it's actually a great thing because you know what doesn't work. And you can iterate on that and iterate on that and iterate on that. And that's the flywheel that the best brands are using right now on Meta, and what I am using for all my clients. Number 4, manual precision beats blind broad. Now, sometimes people will see a video or a tweet and just think they can hand everything to Meta blindly and just trust it. Don't do that. Do not do that. I see that more often than I would like. And the problem with that is Meta's great, but there's an experience required to apply a strategy to each business uniquely. And in doing so, you can see a significant lift in return on ad spend, right? So you don't want to just blindly trust Meta, right? Because they will spend your money, and it's very easy to blow money on Meta. if you don't know what you're doing. And so that's where hiring an expert, having somebody who has experience is extremely important and valuable. And quick plug, if you're a brand looking for help with meta ads, feel free to reach out. I do work with a select number of brands, and I would love to have a conversation, see if we'd be a good fit. You can send me a DM on LinkedIn or X, and I will get back to you as soon as possible. Number 5 is to let organic pre-sell the click. I like to use this as my beginning part of my organic flywheel, especially for Reels. You can test your Reels on Instagram Reels, TikTok, YouTube Shorts, and you can have a system in place to identify those that outperform the average. Those are your organic winners. And if it performed well organically, it's more likely to perform well in the ad account. So creative testing campaigns are some of the biggest cost centers that I see when auditing ad accounts. And so one of the first things I do with brands that are struggling and come to me is I rebuild the whole thought process behind creative testing. It's no longer in the ad account, especially for Reels. It's organic, and we take the best performers organically and we put them in the ad account. So you're essentially testing for free. And it does a couple things. One is it builds in statistical proof that it's working. 2, you'll get some sales and familiarity from the organic post. And 3, you'll be able to inform your hooks, right? Which are very important, especially for video ads. So don't just blindly follow his $200 million playbook, but think about how each of those 5 steps can be applied to your brand, your business. And again, make sure you're working within your constraints, right? 50 creatives a month only makes sense if your team can produce it, if you have the system in place. You want to eliminate as much as you can before you automate and build the system, right? So think about, how can you do this as simply as possible? How can you apply the system as simply as possible to your business? And again, you want to let the data inform your decision making. You want to make the best decisions possible based on the data that you have. Sometimes that means continuing to run the best performing angles and ads that you've been running for months until you can get something that outperforms that. You don't want to break what's already working, right? But you always want to be testing and trying to get new angles, new concepts, new ads, right? So here's a playbook again in one screen. Number 1, first and foremost, make the offer, stop the scroll. The offer is everything. Without the offer, none of this works. Number 2, treat volume as a strategy. Number 3, you need to have a system in place for that volume. Number 4, add manual precision on top of that. And number 5, test organically first to pre-sell the click, get learnings, and put those winners in the ad account. So that's it, guys. Hopefully this was helpful. If it was helpful, feel free to leave a comment and tell me how much you loved it. If there's anything else you want to see, leave it in the comments as well. Hit the like button, smash that like button, and make sure you subscribe so you never miss a video. All right, that's all I got today, guys. Hopefully you have a great day and apply this to your business, and I will see you on the next video.